former U.S. president under federal indictment, an election year filled with uncertainty, a courtroom showdown that could redefine American democracy. As Donald Trump stands trial, millions are asking, can he still become president, or is this the end of the Trump era? This isn't just about legal drama. It's about power, politics, and the future of the United States. Today, we dig deep into Trump's courtroom war and what it truly means for the 2025 presidential elections. In 2020, Donald Trump lost the presidency. In 2021, he was impeached again. In 2022, he launched his comeback campaign. Now in 2025, he's in court, not as a witness, but as the accused. But what makes this moment so unique isn't just that a former president is on trial. It's that he is also the leading candidate in the next election, while under indictment in multiple criminal cases. The stakes, nothing less than the future of American democracy. Let's start with the facts. Trump is currently facing 4 major criminal cases. 1. The federal election interference case, filed by special counsel. Jack Smith. Trump is accused of obstructing the certification of the 2020 election, conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to deny Americans their voting rights. 2. The classified documents case, also federal, alleging that Trump illegally kept top-secret documents at Mar-a-Lago and tried to block investigators from retrieving them. 3. The Georgia state case, focused on Trump's attempt to find 11,780 votes to overturn Georgia 2020 results. Charges include racketeering, typically used against organized crime. 4. The New York case, involving hush money payments during the 2016 election campaign. Together, these charges could result in dozens of years in prison if convicted. Yet none of them, not one, legally bars Trump from running for office. This shocks people outside the U.S. But here's the truth. There is no law in the U.S. Constitution that prevents a person under indictment or even a convicted felon from running for president. All the Constitution says is, must be 35 years old, a natural-born U.S. citizen, lived in the U.S. for 14 years. So theoretically, Trump could run and win, even from a prison cell. It's legally possible. But the bigger question is it politically possible? And here's where the story gets really interesting. Trump isn't just defending himself legally. He's turning these trials into fuel for his campaign. Every indictment becomes a headline. Every court date becomes a rallying cry. His message to supporters? They're not after me. They're after you. I'm just in the way. This strategy has worked. His fundraising skyrocketed after each indictment. Support among Republican voters remains steady, or even grows. Many Americans now see him as a victim of political persecution, not a criminal suspect. Whether you agree with that or not, the strategy is working. This isn't just a campaign. It's a narrative war. And here's where things get more complicated. Trump's trial schedule is clashing directly with the election calendar. Primaries begin early 2025 Super Tuesday. One of the biggest election days comes just weeks later, and in between those dates, courtroom appearances. Imagine this. On Monday, Trump is in court for a criminal trial. On Tuesday, he wins the South Carolina primary. On Wednesday, he's back in court. This has never happened in U.S. history. His lawyers are fighting to delay trials until after the election, arguing that prosecuting a presidential candidate during an election is election interference. But if the trials proceed, they could generate constant negative press, create sympathy among his base, and dominate the national conversation either way. Trump controls the media cycle. A new legal theory has entered the spotlight, and it could block Trump without a trial or conviction. Section 3 of the 14th Amendment says, "No person shall hold any office if they engaged in insurrection or rebellion after swearing to support the Constitution," legal scholars argue. The January 6th Capitol attack qualifies as insurrection. Trump's involvement, even indirectly, may trigger this clause already. Lawsuits in multiple states have been filed to remove Trump from the ballot. But here's the problem. The clause has almost never been used. There's no official process to enforce it, and the Supreme Court will likely make the final decision. So once again, we return to the same pattern. Legal gray zones plus political firestorms equals Trump in control of the narrative. What happens when a country doesn't just disagree, but lives in two different realities? On Fox News, Trump is a hero, a fighter against corruption, a victim of a politically motivated justice system. On MSNBC and CNN, Trump is a criminal, a threat to democracy. A man trying to return to power by undermining the law. Social media adds gasoline to this divide. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, all flooded with both hero worship and hate. The result, America is no longer having debates. It's fighting two different wars in the same country. This division is Trump's ultimate weapon. As the more divided the nation becomes, the more his supporters rally around him, and the harder it becomes to have a unified, peaceful election. Let's play out two possibilities. 1. Trump wins in 2025. He returns to the White House, possibly while still under legal threat. He could try to pardon himself in federal cases. But state-level charges like in Georgia or New York are beyond his control. It would be a constitutional crisis, unlike anything in U.S. history too. Trump loses. He may refuse to accept the results again. Could claim the election was stolen. Again. Could trigger protests, unrest, and challenge American institutions once more. Either outcome is dangerous. Either path is filled with uncertainty. But make no mistake, this election is no longer just about policy. It's about survival, of parties, of institutions, of democracy itself. In 2025, the United States isn't just voting for a president. It's deciding whether a man under indictment can return to the Oval Office. It's a test of the law, of the people, and of the system itself. So, is Trump a political warrior fighting injustice? Or a man trying to escape accountability behind a presidential campaign? That's for the American people and the courts to decide. But one thing's certain. This is not just politics anymore. This is history in real time. There are two kinds of people in Washington, D.C. It's the ones who commute in from Virginia or Maryland. It's the ones who actually live here. I'm in the second group, a D.C. resident for nearly a decade. And here's what no headline tells you. Crime in D.C. didn't begin when two young white men became victims. We've been living this story, watching it unfold in our streets, our schools, our stores. But now, suddenly, Washington's crime is a national emergency. And President Trump says he's ready to act. This isn't just a crime story. This is a story about youth, failure, and federal power. About what happens when a city's leaders ignore the cracks, until everything starts to fall apart. While national media zooms in on tragic incidents involving two white victims, one killed, one left, barely alive, locals here in D.C. have been sounding the alarm for years, in Reddit threads, on Instagram, in community meetings. We've watched the rise in youth crime with growing concern. It's not subtle anymore. Kids raiding CVS stores in groups, carjackings in broad daylight, midnight street roaming, grocery stores now locking exits behind receipt scans, toiletries placed behind plexiglass and buzzers. These are not minor inconveniences. These are signals of breakdown in public trust, in safety, and in leadership. So what's behind the surge in youth crime? One word: truancy. D.C. has some of the highest truancy rates in the nation. And when kids aren't in school, they're not just home watching Netflix. They're forming flash mobs, boosting cars, getting caught up in dangerous behaviors that affect innocent families, neighbors, and local businesses. And let's be clear, this isn't just a D.C. issue. This is what happens when school systems fail, when communities aren't supported, and when we stop showing kids another path forward. Here's where things get uncomfortable, especially for many progressives. We've been taught to talk about crime through the lens of prison reform and racial justice. And yes, that history matters, but crime isn't just about race. It's about proximity. People hurt the people closest to them. So when crimes happen in Southeast D.C., they're not just harming rich neighborhoods or outsiders. They're harming the kids who live there, who go to school there, who are trying to build something better. When we ignore crime in the name of avoiding uncomfortable conversations, We abandon the very communities we claim to defend. And here's where the danger lies. Because ignoring these issues gives the federal government a reason to step in. And if you think President Trump wouldn't seize the opportunity to override DC's home rule, think again. Already sent military after the cartels. It's made it clear. He sees DC as a symbol of chaos and failure and a political opportunity. And unless we act now, we risk losing control over our own city. Let's be clear. This is not a call for mass incarceration. Don't fix the problem by locking up teenagers and throwing away the key. But accountability must come with opportunity. We need stronger truancy interventions, parent accountability programs, after-school mentorship, mental health support, and a city council willing to face the problem head-on. More police may slow the bleeding. But the deeper wound, it starts at home, in classrooms, in families, in broken trust. Washington, D.C. is more than Capitol Hill and monuments. It's families. Generations of Black Washingtonians, young people searching for direction, and neighbors who deserve to feel safe. Crime isn't new here, but the silence around it. That's what allowed it to grow. Let's not wait for federal overreach to force action. Let's face the truth and start building something better together. If you believe in truth, accountability, and change, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And let us know in the comments, what does real justice in DC look like to you?